don't really want none. We some southern boys with the farmer strength. Ain't nobody man enough to feel the pain. And you could be next, you better give respect, cause ain't nobody breaking this redneck. No, they don't want none. 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 They looking scared.
And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Dis and Dims, coming to you live from Hattiesburg, Mississippi. My name is Big John, and I've got Billy Ray with me today, and we're talking on the podcast, something to talk about. Billy Ray, welcome to the show.
How you doing this morning?
Well, I'm doing pretty good, Billy Ray. Two things here. Number one, I'm full. I just ate the chili cheeseburger here at Dis and Dims, and it was off the chain.
Yeah.
Number two, the Mississippi State Bulldogs are beating Louisville right now, which was a little bit of an unexpected thing.
I believe so. I believe everybody in the state, just about everybody in the state, unless you're a true die-hard Mississippi State Bulldog fan, has picked against State today, and they're holding their own against Louisville. They're up 17-14 in the second quarter, and they just picked off a pass, so they're doing pretty good.
Yes, they are. And so, you know, some things we're going to talk about today are some bowl games coming up. We're going to go over some of those, the last five, I believe. And we're also going to talk about the top sports headlines of the year, you know, things that really caught our attention. And the last thing we're going to talk about are movies, some of the top movies of the year. And so, or we could talk about some of our favorites, you know, that you can watch with this cold weather coming in. So that's going to be good. But let's not forget our sponsors who help make this happen. First of all, we have to mention the Shabby Sheet Cake there in Laurel. I went by and saw Ashley the other day, and she was making a strawberry cake that looked really good. And I happened to try the strawberry shortcake cupcakes. And Billy Ray, let me tell you something, they were outstanding.
Strawberry shortcake cupcake.
Yeah.
Sounds interesting.
It was, and it was very tasty and good, and so you guys should go by there and try that. And so also a big shout-out to Flicka Smith over in Taylorsville, who has Flicka's Tax Service on Highway 28 in Taylorsville. You can give her a call at 601-785-6900. Preparing taxes since 1989. She has a full service, 1040 easy to corporate and partnerships, and also she does payrolls and 1099s, Billy Ray. So didn't you talk about Flicka during the year when you were doing Taylorsville broadcast?
Yes, I did. I read her commercial ad on Taylorsville High School broadcast that I did this past fall every Friday night. So I'm well familiar with her services she offers. And it's getting tax time, so I need a good tax return, so I may have to go talk to her. Yeah,
go over there and talk to Flicka, and you know, she will appreciate your business, just like our Shabby Sheet Cake sponsor will too. So let's get right into the action, Billy Ray, and let's talk about some bowl games. Now, some interesting bowl games. There really hasn't been an exciting one except the other day when Texas A&M played Wake Forest, and that was probably the most exciting one, a high-scoring affair where Texas A&M barely got beat 55-52 by Wake Forest. But I tell you what, A&M scored a couple off of special teams, which is always a boost.
Yeah, they blocked a couple of kicks early in the game. I quit watching that game early when Wake Forest was up 31-14, I believe. I quit watching it then. I went to Walmart, did a few errands around town, came back, and it was 45-42.
Yeah, so a bit of a high-scoring affair. You know, it's college bowl season. The teams hadn't played in a month, and so that's, you know, more than likely what you're going to see during these times of the years, during these bowl games. And so let's get right into the action here. And also, next week, we're going to have two special guests.
Really? Two special guests?
Two special guests. In the first hour, we're going to have Nick Matthews come join us and talk to us about the credit union difference from Central Sunbelt Credit Union. Also going to be joining us, guess who?
I have no clue.
Flicka Smith. She's going to be talking to us about tax stuff, things that we need to prepare and what we need to do to get ready for that.
Sounds like a good show next week.
It does. Sounds like great sports and
Good information.
Sports
Financial
and all that stuff. Very good. So it's that time of the year, so people need to know about that, and that gives them what? Something to talk about. Mm-hmm. So let's look at the bowl games here that we got left. Most of these are going to be played on New Year's Day. And the first one we have is the Outback Bowl. Jim Harbaugh up there in Michigan has, been recruiting the South hard and heavy, trying to model it a lot after Ohio State, and he saw the success that Urban Meyer has had there, and so he's going to be taking on South Carolina. I have to tell you, I like Michigan in this game. I think Michigan wins, but I think it's going to be a close game. I think Michigan pulls away late, though.
Yeah, I like Michigan as well. These two teams met a couple years ago in the same exact bowl game. If you remember, Javon Clowney made that big hit in the backfield, knocking that guy's helmet off, which was basically, he made a big hit, but the guy had dreads in his head, and the helmet was bigger than what he needed, so it was easier for him to pop it off. So it made it look good for TV. South Carolina won that game. I don't think South Carolina will win this one. They don't have the
personnel to
match with Michigan, I believe.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so next we have the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. We have number 7 Auburn taking on number 12 UCF, and so that game's very appealing. UCF was rolling all throughout the year, but they just don't have the athletes as Auburn does. I think they have some good athletes, but I don't think they face the competition like Auburn has.
They claim they have the speed. Auburn has not seen the speed of Central Florida, but I don't think they have that much speed. And they've lost Scott Frost. He's going to coach the game, but his mind's got to be on Nebraska, not Central Florida. So Central Florida may hang with them for a quarter, maybe a half, but I think Auburn pulls away.
Yeah, I think you're right there. I think that's going to be a bit of a good game, but I think Auburn wins running away with it, and so, but that's just me. So, let's talk about the Citrus Bowl now. You have number 14, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, taking on number 17, LSU, and these two teams have played a time or two before in the past as well.
Yes, they have.
So, you look at Notre Dame, and they've already played Georgia this year, and they lost, by a few points.
It was a close game.
It was a close one. LSU, they've started off a little bit slow and finished strong.
Got upset by Troy at homecoming,
and got beat by Mississippi State as well.
Didn't it?
Yeah, 27-7. So,
okay, I'm aware of that.
Yeah, so that one should be interesting. Coach Orgeron down at LSU has done a great job this year. I mean, it's an LSU team, and they're a 9-3 team almost every year, depending on how they do against Alabama.
So the LSU fans are back in love with Orgeron, huh?
I guess they are.
Back in September, October, they wanted to run him out of town. So.
Well, didn't they do the same thing with Les Miles?
Yeah, they kept him around a little longer than they should have, I think.
So
in this game, I like Notre Dame. Notre Dame played Georgia close. Of course, that game was at home up in South Bend. But Notre Dame was in the top 5 most of the year, trying to get into the playoffs, and they stumbled down the stretch. But I think Notre Dame will pull this one out down in Orlando.
Yeah, I do too. I like Notre Dame in that one. Notre Dame has took on some tough Big Ten competition. Of course, the SEC has played some good teams as well, but I don't think LSU will be able to contain Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame has got some really good receivers, and I think it's going to be a challenge for the Tigers. Of course, you never know in these bowl games. So
you never know because these teams have been out 3, 4, some 5 weeks. Just practicing, and you may be hot at the end of the year, but you have this long drought where you ain't played. You might have lost your edge.
Absolutely. So, we'll see what happens. And then you go to the big games that we're going to talk about.
Okay, the big games. Playoff games, huh?
Playoff games. And that's the Rose Bowl featuring number 3, Georgia, and number 2, Oklahoma. Now, I'm going to tell you, everybody in the South wants to stick with the southern teams, and I get that. which pretty much all of these teams are in the South.
Yeah.
And you know, when does Alabama or Georgia care when Ole Miss or Mississippi State gets good recruits?
Obviously they do, because Ole Miss is on probation now.
Yeah, so why should we care when they're playing? Should we? I mean, should we pull for Alabama and Georgia just because they're in the same conference?
Yeah, because it helps us.
Why?
It helps
How
us.
does it help us recruit? How?
Financially.
Yeah, but
End of the year we get a bigger cut.
yeah, I get that. I mean, the money helps playing in the games, but we don't have to pull for them.
No, you don't have to pull for them. Pull wherever you want.
Yeah, so that brings up my next thing. I'm going for Oklahoma in the Rose Bowl in Baker Mayfield.
Well, you'd be wrong.
I could be wrong.
Baker Mayfield is a heck of a quarterback. He won the Heisman Trophy. He's walked on at 2 universities. Walked on at Texas Tech, transferred, decided to go to Oklahoma. Just like 4th string. Got to the starting position, won the Heisman. He's a good quarterback. But Georgia has a better defense than what he's faced in the Big 12.
You know,
Georgia has 3 outstanding running backs.
Georgia does have a good team, but I think Oklahoma's speed is going to get them on the outside. I think Oklahoma's receivers, and I think the pass attack is going to get Georgia, because anytime Georgia has played a passing attack style team like Auburn, what happened?
I think the Georgia defensive line gets to Baker Mayfield.
That's what everybody said about Auburn and Stedman over there. Steedeth, or whatever his name is, at Auburn.
But the defensive line for Georgia will get through the offensive line of Oklahoma and get to the quarterback.
Not if Baker,
No pressure on him.
not if Baker Mayfield can pass it before they get to him.
We'll see.
Yes, we
When
will.
Georgia gets the ball, they will have the 3-headed running attack
Well,
of Chubb, Michelle, and Swift. And I think Georgia will win.
you know, I have to agree to disagree with you there, Billy Ray. I think that you know, those line will you know, the line for Oklahoma will be able to contain Georgia at least a little bit to give Baker Mayfield some time to go. So that's what I believe will happen.
Well, on paper, it's shaping up to be a good game.
Most
of the games in the playoff system the last few years have been blowouts in the semifinal round.
Absolutely.
And what was that?
That was a lightning bolt. Good thought. So there you go.
I wish you'd tell me before you do something like that.
Well, it's all about surprise how you attack them. Let's move on to the Sugar Bowl, where you got Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers and taking on the Alabama Crimson Tide.
For the 3rd year in a row.
3rd year in a row. And what's the outcome of that game, Ben?
Alabama won the first time. Clemson had a last, I think maybe, remember 2 years ago, I think they had a chance at the end there to try to win it. They just ran out of time. Last year, Clemson won it. But I think if Alabama's tailback Scarborough hadn't got hurt, I think Alabama may have held on to win that game. But he got hurt, so we'll never know.
Oh, making excuses for the Jammers.
And this year, Clemson comes in as the number 1 team, but they're coming in, according to Vegas, the underdog. They lost their quarterback to the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not too sure about this game. I think Alabama should win, but you never know. Clemson may be able to. They're not intimidated by Alabama.
No, who you like in this one?
If Clemson's quarterback had just a little bit more experience, I would go with them. I'm gonna go with Alabama.
I got Clemson.
Okay.
I like Clemson because I like Dabo Swinney.
I don't like Dabo Swinney. I could not be a part of his team. Nick Saban, I could. I like his style of coaching.
I don't like Nick Saban.
I like his style of aggression.
He's a whiner.
I've never seen him whine. I don't like Dabo Swinney. I'm not into all that dancing after the end of the game.
I like
I'm
that.
not into that.
It shows emotion.
I'm into Nick Saban type coaching style.
Okay. Well, to each his own. And everybody, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back here after this short break. And so we'll be back coming to you live from Dissonance in Hattiesburg on a cold Saturday. So